All right, here we go, back at it again, 2 chapters a day. Today, I read chapters 5 and 6 of The Eye of the World, and yikes, things are picking up but not looking good. So, just a little recap. In chapters 3 and 4, Rand and Tam are attacked by Trollocs. Tam gets hurt. Rand makes his way to Eamon's Field, and also Tam in his delirious state reveals that he actually might not be Rand's father. So that's where we are. In chapter 5 and 6, Rand makes it to Emmons Field and he is expecting to get there and get help from the wisdom, and she'll heal Tam, and everything will be great, and they'll live happily ever after, and everything will be howdy doody. And that is just not what happens. So instead of this fairy tale vision happy ending that Rand has, what actually happens is that he gets there and the village has been attacked too. And it's just like utter mayhem. People are running around, people are hurt, houses are burning. He gets to Nynaeve, the wisdom, and he says, "Hey, here's my dad, help." And she basically is just like, "Sorry, he's dying, can't help him. I'm gonna go over here and help the people who aren't dying and that I can't help." And just as a side note, I think it's interesting that her character, in like a time span of 3 or 4 paragraphs, she and Egwene both, who's helping her, um, make it very clear that their hands are clean and being washed. And I just think that's an interesting little fun thing to throw in there because um, in like medieval times, which clearly, this is fiction, so it's not a real time, but I'm going to equate it to like medieval times, that definitely would not have been a thing. So, how very wise of Nynaeve to make sure that her hands are clean when treating injured and sick people. I just thought that was fun. So, anyways, end of side note. She says, "I can't help you." And Rand instead goes to the mayor. And the mayor suggests going to Moraine, which, sure, Moraine, great. We haven't seen her in a couple chapters. Well, it turns out that she is something called an Aes Sedai. I think I'm saying that right. And I think, we don't know much about them yet, other than that they are like this powerful group of people. According to the glossary in the back, they're just women and they can wield the one power. I don't know what that is. So, oh, and also, everybody that talks about them seems to be horrified and scared of them. Um, so I don't know what that's about, but we'll see. So Bran says, "Why don't you go to Moraine, see if she can help? Just, you're probably gonna have to pay a price." So Rand heads to find Moraine, and he finds her and Lon at the bridge disposing of Trolloc bodies, and she immediately says yes, which is interesting, or not surprising really, because it's mentioned that Lon and Moraine also pretty much helped save the town from being utterly destroyed. So to me, she seems to have a big heart. So she says yes, that she'll help, but she does ask for a price. And we don't know what that price is yet. She just basically says, "Hey, I'm going to ask you to do something in the future and you're going to have to do it." And Rand is like, "Yeah, no problem. Just save my dad." So they go back to the inn and she heals him. And that he's kind of, still magically induced coma. But while she's healing him, it's revealed, and a little bit before, it's revealed and then later confirmed, that the Trollocs did not really attack the village. They attacked a couple farms, and the village was kind of a ruse. They were really just looking for 3 people, and that was Mat, Perrin, and Rand. And Moraine says that there, or maybe it's Lon, I can't remember, says that there's something in them that the Dark One must want. Ooh. So that's interesting. And Lon also points out that there's a heron on Rand's sword, or Tam's sword, whose ever sword, which is interesting because it's more bird symbolism. And maybe I'm like picking up on this weird bird thing that's actually not a thing, but I'm just seeing bird symbolism everywhere in this book. So there's the heron on the sword, and then it's confirmed that ravens are bad. They are spies and kind of like just bad spies for the Dark One, the dragon, I guess. Are those the same? I don't know. So I just think it's fun, I guess, and I'm happy that there's that's been confirmed since it was kind of something I predicted. Um, so there's this heron on the sword, and Lon kind of mentions that it's not something that a simple shepherd would have had, most likely. So this kind of goes back to the who is Tam? Like, was he a soldier? Was he something else? I don't think he's been a shepherd his whole life. So I'm interested to see what's going on with that. Perhaps the most important part of this chapter or this section is that Moraine explains to Rand, who eventually realizes it himself, that he has to leave Two Rivers. Wah, wah, wah. Very sad because, as we know so far, that's like the last thing that Rand wants to do. He's happy in Two Rivers, and he just the idea of leaving. Why would he ever want to leave Two Rivers? There's everything a person could want there. But the Trollocs are after him, and I guess he loves his Two Rivers so much that he's willing to leave and make it a safer place, which it would be without him there. So that's kind of where the chapter ends. Oh, the chapter ends really with him falling asleep and wanting to talk to his father, who is still not awake yet, and I don't think will be awake before they leave. They're leaving at, around sometime in the night, and that only leaves, I think, a couple of hours for Tam to wake up. I really want him to wake up so that Rand can talk to him because I want to know what's going on. um, Throughout this chapter, again, Rand, his inner monologue is saying, like, he's my father, and he keeps saying it to himself. And it's driving me nuts. I get the reason why Rand, it keeps saying that because his character is trying to convince himself, like, yes, he is my father. I have no doubt, even though that doubt has been put there by his father. But it's driving me nuts to read, he's my father, he's my father. So I'm looking forward to figuring out what's going on with that. I get the feeling that it's going to be a while before we get any sort of closure, conclusion, answers to that. I'm excited to see where this goes. It's not been said or confirmed that, like, the way it kind of was left is that, like, Rand and his friends would be going off by themselves, and I think Moraine and Lan would be going off by themselves, but I think they're going to end up together. Um, so I'm excited to see, like, where this goes. I'm ready for the adventure to really begin and for them to get out into the great wide world and to see more of this world. So tomorrow, that's pretty much it for chapters 5 and 6. Um, Tomorrow will be chapters 7 and 8, and I can't wait to see what happens in that. Let me know your thoughts down below.